even for one. It's Christmas Eve, everyone, and as a tradition, I'm gonna be making some cookies because I'm gonna be distributing all around my neighborhood. This is what I love to do. So today I'm gonna be making red velvet cookies. How delicious are those gonna be? They will be nice, cakey, chewy. So let me walk you through my ingredients briefly. So we're gonna be needing some all-purpose flour. We need some good old sugar. I'm gonna be actually using some turbinado sugar because I wanna make the recipe healthier. So I'm avoiding the white sugar. I'm gonna be using the raw cane turbinado sugar. And then as usual, we're gonna use some baking powder, some baking soda, some salt. Now, we need to use some good cocoa here. I got 2 eggs. I have some butter already here at room temperature. And then we're gonna be using, of course, some vanilla extract. And what makes red velvet? Red velvet is the red food coloring. So without further ado, let's get baking. So the first thing we're gonna do is turn on the oven because I want it to heat up to 160 degrees. And during this time, we're gonna go ahead and make our batter. Guys, what really helps me when I bake is I separate my dry and the wet ingredients. So first we're gonna start with the dry ingredients. And for this, I'm gonna need 2 cups of flour. So into the flour, I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa. Now we're gonna add 1 teaspoon and a quarter of baking powder. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Salt in cookies is weird, but it totally brings out the sweetness and the decadence of a cookie. So now I'm gonna use the whisk and I want to combine these ingredients so they are nice and homogeneous. What do you guys think of my Christmas sweater? It's so much fun, and I got my beautiful poinsettia here. I love this time of the year. It's just so, I don't know, festive. Even if we're all locked down and we're not, able to see our families and everything, I'm still grateful. Okay, now let's move on to our wet ingredients. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my little mixer here. Guys, for this recipe, we need 113 grams of butter. And I basically have some room temperature butter here, but I'm gonna measure it because with baking, you need to be precise. I love these Lurpak little blocks. They come in 50 grams, so it's actually much easier. Now for this, you need room temperature butter and room temperature eggs. Don't try to melt cold butter because it's just not gonna perform like it is when you actually leave the butter to soften at room temperature. Guys, it's exactly 113. So my butter is ready to go into my bowl here. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our sugar because the whole idea is to beat the butter with the sugar to fluff them up. And I'm gonna add roughly 3/4 of a cup of sugar. It's quite a bit, but I'm making this for people, so I'm not gonna skip out on the sugar. Love the smell of brown sugar. Perfect. So now I'm gonna go ahead and beat these guys until they're nice and fluffy. Now it's time to add the eggs. So I have 2 eggs, 2 large eggs at room temperature. And as a good baking tip, I will tell you, crack your eggs 1 at a time and make sure they are totally mixed in before you add the other egg. Now it's time for the other egg. perfect. Now I'm gonna eyeball my vanilla extract. Now it's time for the red food coloring. Guys, I got my red food coloring here, so I'm gonna go ahead and eyeball, squeeze a little bit, but you don't wanna put more than 1 tablespoon, otherwise it's gonna really flavor the food, not in a positive direction. You can use any type of food coloring, but I recommend the gel type. They blend much easier. I think we can use a little bit more. I want these really nice and vibrant. Guys, now I'm going to be folding my dry ingredients into the wet. So let's go ahead and add our dry ingredients half at a time. So at this stage, I'm not mixing. I'm just folding the wet with the dry. So I started doing this cookie thing a couple of years ago, and I really love doing it because I don't get to connect with my neighbors that often. So once in a year, you know, I make these cookies and I go all over the neighborhood and kind of distribute, especially to security, to reception, because I'm absolutely grateful for everything they do for me and just want a little bit of, you know, celebration during this time. Yeah, the cookies aren't as red as I would have liked to, but honestly, the coloring I'm finding are not perfect. It's okay, it's the intention that counts, right? It's so yummy. Who loves cookie dough? I do. All right, our batter is done. We are ready to roll now. For the next step, I'm going to be using parchment paper. So I'm going to line my baking sheet with parchment paper because I like easy cleanup too. Now into this bowl, I'm going to be actually taking a little bit powdered sugar. This is what's going to give the cookies the crinkle effect. Woo! It's like snow. So I'm just going to add a little bit, eyeball it. Guys, now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be actually scooping out my cookies, and I'm using a small scoop. It just makes it so much easier. And I love my cookies when they are the same size. So you get them like this, and then I'm going to roll them around in powdered sugar. Yeah, we want to coat them a little bit with powdered sugar. And then we place them on our little cookie sheet. So this should make about 24 cookies. As the cookies bake, the powdered sugar is gonna really give them a nice effect because they're gonna be crumbling out of the powdered sugar. So you're gonna have the crinkle effect. So tonight my plan is I'm gonna watch Christmas movies. I'm just gonna relax, enjoy the festive season. My first batch is ready. I'm gonna put them into the oven and bake 10 to 12 minutes until they're gonna be nice and crinkly. Guys, look how gorgeous this looks. They're ready to go into the oven. Guys, check out our red velvet cookies. I'm just gonna check the doneness by putting a knife through, and it comes out clean. That means they're ready to go, 10 minutes only. Now it's extremely important to take them on a cooling rack because you want them to cool to get nice and crunchy on the outside and soft inside. Using one of these guys to remove my cookies. They look absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure Santa's gonna appreciate that tonight as well. Right, Bruno? Yes. Bruno's anxiously waiting for Santa too. Guys, the hardest thing is the wait. So just waiting for the second batch to bake. In the meantime, I'm brewing my espresso here because it's gonna be coffee and red velvet cookie time soon. Guys, the cookies are done. Red velvet time with some espresso. So I'm gonna gently place them. Oh, it's hot. So it's much easier. This is why kitchen tools exist. I love the crinkly look of this cookie. They're so festive, and I know they're gonna be so delicious inside. Guys, there you have it. This is my red velvet special edition Christmas cookies. Merry Christmas, everyone. So you know me, I'm gonna take one really pretty cooled down version, and I'm actually gonna put the last one I put, which is still really warm and gooey inside. Now these are gonna cool, and then I'm gonna be all over the neighborhood spreading Christmas joy. Guys, it's time to try the cookies. So I'm just gonna do it in front of you so you can see it. First, look at this beauty! It's like a red velvet cake inside. I'm pretty sure Santa's gonna enjoy this tonight. And I'm thinking to serve him a cup of espresso. It's gonna be a long night, so I think he can use it more than milk. Cheers, everyone! Merry Christmas!